Alrighty, everybody, what's going on? Hope we're doing well. It is a Sunday. Got football starting up in a little bit, but I wanted to do. So I was gonna give an album review on the new Drake album for all the dogs, but I'm still not ready for that yet because I do feel like this album has a lot to offer, has a lot of layers. I know it's a very controversial record at the moment. Um, so I wanted to hold off on that, but I still wanted to do something involving the record. So I decided I'm gonna do a tier list right now. My thoughts on it. This is subject to change, but for right now, just gonna get right into it. I hate that they don't have they don't have track. I'm recording a podcast. What's up? Yeah, no. All right, Joe's calling in. Everybody.
Hey, for the record, Girls Want Girls is better than any song on this mid album. Just saying. And whatever Mike's saying is wrong. Green Thumb is the best song on the whole thing. And yeah, that's that.
There we go. There we go. All right, you're off speaker. Anything important, or you just want the chat? Yeah, yeah. I'll be done. Alrighty, bro. Peace. All right, so that was Joe. I guess he sensed that we were recording. But yeah, let's get started with the tier list. So the first track, Virginia Beach, is the intro. Not your standard classic Drake intro from the standpoint of rapping. However, I love it. I think it's a flawless record. It might be my favorite like R&B Drake as of recent, and that's saying a lot because he's had a lot of good R&B cuts in the last couple of years. But this one is just crazy to me, from the Frank Ocean sample to like just a beat, Drake harmonizing. There's a clear message. You really kind of just it just kind of takes you on a journey. It's a vibe, and I think it was a great opener to this album. I also think it's why a lot of people got turned off by this album, because they thought this was going to be very rap heavy. First song, Virginia Beach, they thought it was going to be going at push, obviously because of the name, but you literally got the opposite. But I thought that was awesome personally. So I'm throwing Virginia Beach at an S tier. So track number 2, we got Amen featuring Tizo Touchdown. Tizo killed this, man. Like, absolutely killed it. This beat it sounds like something that could have been on like either of Kanye's last two albums, like Jesus is King, or even like an earlier version of Donda. Actually, that's my only gripe with this record is Drake's got one verse and Tizo's got like the chorus. He kills it, but I wish there was another verse on there. I do wish there was a Kanye verse on this song. I think present day Kanye could have really like had a good effort on this song, and it would have made sense. But I still really like it. I still really like it. I love to hear Drake over this type of instrumental. And I wasn't really the biggest Tizo Touchdown fan, but man, he showed out. I'm gonna put that at an A. So now we got Calling for You featuring 21 Savage. Very weird song because it starts off so good. Like Drake is killing it. Drake's first verse is great. I love the beat. And then the beat just kind of stops. Um, no, excuse me. Drake kind of stops, and then the beat just keeps going with the sample, and then this girl starts talking, and then it's like, look, I get it, right? Like, because he in that first verse, he's kind of talking about a situation where he's with this girl, and she doesn't really know, she's younger than him, and you know, he's just talking about all the struggles with that, and then she gets on there like yelling about like oxtails and stuff, and like I get it, like there's a direction, but and then the song just breaks apart into this 21 Savage verse on another beat that just makes absolutely no sense. Makes no sense at all. I don't know if Drake just thought it did because of the 21 Savage line he had early in the song. Like that's the only thing that I can think of. But Drake kills it, but then the rest of the song I just kind of don't need. Um I don't know. It does kind of piss me off because I feel like this song had a lot of potential, but I'm gonna put it at C. So now for the next record we have Fear of Heights, where Drake is essentially starts off it starts off a really moody, just like R&B type of Drake. He's taking shots at Rihanna, which I think is just kind of unnecessary, but it is what it is. And then there's a part that where he says he was like, you know what, let me stop. And then he goes, nah, let me go. And then the beat drops, and it's just like a completely different song, but it still makes sense. Like that last record, for example, it was like there was two different songs and it didn't make sense. This one to me made sense. So it tied in together nicely. The energy switched up, but it was very much needed, in my opinion. Like if he would have made a whole song out of that first part, I would have felt like it was just dragging on a little too long. Um, but yeah, overall, I think this is a great song. I'm trying to think if I don't know. I'm trying to think if it's S or A. I'm gonna put it at A for now. I'm gonna put it at A. Now the next record we get Daylight, banger. Hearing Drake over these beats. Now we've heard him kind of over some of these beats. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, like like Betrayal with Trippie Redd, um, Jumbotron, this we've kind of heard it, but he really went full throttle here, and I absolutely loved it. Um, Catchy hook, two great verses, and at the end, this like boom bap beat comes on, and his son Adonis raps for like the last like 40 seconds. It's just kind of like a nice ending to the record, even though it's weird because like he's talking crazy on the record, like mob ties Drake. That this is what you're getting at its finest. Not really too much more to add onto that. I mm, I'm gonna put it at S tier. I'm gonna put it at S tier. Now I believe. Let me just look at the track list. This isn't in order. Yep. Next song we get First Person Shooter featuring J. Cole. On first listen, I thought what everybody else thought, obviously, and I still do think like Cole got the best of Drake. And I wanted to hear Drake more on that first beat that Cole rapped over. But the more and more I listen to it, the more I appreciate how Drake brought that different energy to the record, and it really feels like a song, a really put together song. And I think we're gonna look back on this as like one of the best rap duo songs of this time. You know, we haven't gotten one of the. I feel like we haven't gotten one of these in a while. I mean, you could argue the last one that was like this was like Sicko Mode, you know, on this mainstream of a level that really was just of quality. Um, and yeah, I feel like there's not too much to add. Obviously, to add some context, Drake and J. Cole, we've been waiting on a record for them since 2013 when they dropped Jodeci. They dropped in the morning, I believe, in 2011 or 2010, one of those. But yeah, so this was a lot of expectations, and I believe the expectations were met. I'm going to put that over Daylight in the S tier. I believe I don't give a F is next. Yes, I don't give a F featuring Yeat. So I'm I'll just be honest. I'm not the biggest Yeat fan, but I thought his performance was cool on this. You know, I really did. I think Drake matched the energy well. He kind of dumbed it down a little bit, but I felt like it was needed. I see a lot of people being like, "Oh, like he stepped into Yeat's world, like he shouldn't have done that." But I think it was cool for this record. I don't know. Like personally, I like to hear Drake like that. Um, I think that yeah, I don't know. Like I I liked it. It's not one of the better records on the album, but I definitely do find myself like going back to it a decent amount. Um, yeah, I would probably I would put it at the A. Yeah, I go back to it a lot. I do. I mean, granted, it's only been a week, but it is one of the records I go back to. Now, 7969 Santa, I believe, is next. This song is cool to me. Again, Tizo touchdown kills it. Um, Dogs will beat up. Like I think it's awesome. But I don't know. Like I feel like Drake, the content is really good. I like the content in it, but I just feel like it's a little stagnant. Also, shout out to Snoop Dogg too at the end of the record, but I feel like it's a little stagnant. So it's a good record. I like it. I just feel like a little bit more could have been done for it, but it is what it is. I'm gonna put it at the B. I believe we have Slime You Out next, which was the first official single. Originally, I didn't like this song, and I still don't like it as a single. Within the context of the album, it definitely sounds better. However, I still don't find myself going back to it. I thought SZA killed it. I thought Drake killed it. The whole name and the months thing at the end was like cool and clever, but it just didn't really do much for me personally. Um, yeah, I'll probably put it at a C. I think it's better than Calling for You, but I mean I don't know that's I can't give it a B. I can't give it anything higher. I just can't. So Bahamas Promises, I will say another great R&B cut. Um, I don't find myself going back to it as much as some of the other R&B cuts, but I think that this production is arguably some of the best on the album. And yeah, but to me, it kind of feels like this 7969 Santa. It just kind of feels like something's missing. It's good. I'll still listen to it, but something's missing. I'll put that at the B category. Tried Our Best is next, right? Yes. Okay. I love this song. It leaked out, and I remember listening to like the first couple seconds of it, and I stopped listening because I was just really hoping that Drake put this on the album, and I didn't want it to be spoiled because it sounded great and it lived up to the expectations for me and more. I just love the vibe on this album. Not album, well, of course, the album, but on this song. I love the picture he's painting. When he's like champagne, eggs Benedict, Zoom call with a therapist. Like, I don't know. Like, he's just saying a lot of things that, like, I feel like people my age and stuff specifically, like, can kind of relate to. And that's what, look, if you're a Drake fan at your core, you you love Drake because of the relatability factor and the fact that I've been able to relate to him since I've started listening to him over a decade ago is crazy. And yeah, I don't know. This is definitely an S tier song. Um, I'm gonna put it over First Person Shooter. Yeah, I mean they're two completely different vibes, so I can't really compare the songs, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So now for I'm going to create a true interlude because this, I mean, there's no. It's a cool breakup between the records, but Drake's not really doing anything on here. Rest in peace to DJ Screw, of course, but it definitely does break up the album nicely, and I do think that it was well placed. So I do think there's a need for it. I just don't feel like I could properly rank it. I don't know. I don't know. I can't properly rank it. True Picasso, another great R&B cut, and I love it. I absolutely love it. In fact, I'm gonna put it at an A. But I kind of feel like I don't know. Like at the same time, the thing that stops it from being S tier to me is like I would rather listen to a Virginia Beach or Tried Our Best, but I still want to listen to Drew or Picasso, if that makes sense. I don't know. I hope it did, but Yeah, I don't have much to say. See, this is my only gripe is this stretch of songs in the track list. I felt like should have been mixed up. Like it should have been sequenced a little better because you get a lot of R&B cuts. That's why I said that the "Screw the World" interlude was good. You know, you needed that, but then it's like, okay, now we're going back to R&B. It's like, okay, whatever, but I still like it. Speaking of R&B, Drake and Party Next Door, members only. Now, I think Drake and Party Next Door make some of the best music ever together. And I think that, I mean, I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say this is their greatest thing they've ever recorded together because the answer to that is obviously recognized. That won't ever be topped. But I do think as time goes on, this is gonna be another one of those. We're gonna look back at one of these as like classics. Like there's a lot of great lines in there. The chemistry between Drake and PND actually seems like it's like at its peak, you know? Like, because I think the last record we heard with them was Loyal. And Loyal was cool, but I just felt like it wasn't really like you can tell they worked on this in the studio. Whether they were together or not, they worked on writing this song together. And you definitely can see that. I damn near want to put it at an S tier, but I Drake's part at the end is cool. Obviously, I like how he switches it up. You know, that's classic Drake right there. You know, switch up beat. You know, but I feel like it dragged on a little bit, and I actually wouldn't have minded if it just ended like 2.5 minutes in. Um, but it is what it is. What are you gonna do, right? Um, I still definitely think it's an A though, and I will put it right there. Next up, what would Pluto do? This was remember that there was a snippet that got leaked out of I think it got played at a club or something. And yeah, we heard that like baby girl Adonis need a sister. Oh, okay. Um this record is I thought it was cool when I heard the snippet. I wasn't as big on it as everyone else is, but now hearing it, I love it. It's one of my favorite records on the album. In fact, it is my second. I'm gonna put it over Try Our Best. Um, that's subject to change, but it's just such a bop. I feel like this should have been the lead single. I really do. I think that this could have been. I mean, it still could be, but I really think that this could have been like a smash God's Plan type of record. It just has that vibe. Obviously, like what would Pluto do? Like everybody loves Future. Everybody knows what that means. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just so catchy. It's just fun. You know, you could tell Drake was having fun with it, and yeah, I don't know. Yeah, again, there's not much more to say. It's an S tier track for me. So okay, next up we got All the Parties featuring Chief Keef. Man, I know Chief Keef wasn't on it for that long. By the way, Chief Keef was also sampled in 7969 Santa with I Don't Like. But anyways, good thing I just remembered that. But yeah, so I was so surprised to see Chief Keef featured on the Drake album in 2023. Like I feel like this is a collab that was supposed to happen 10 years ago and we never got it. So it was just something that we all kind of forgot about and was like, okay, I guess, that's not happening. It was a short little hook from Chief Keef, but I felt like it was needed, you know, and the beat switches up midway. Drake kind of comes in, repeats the chorus, and kind of takes it in a little bit of a different direction, which I like a lot. And yeah, this song is just a vibe, nothing more, nothing less. It's just yeah, I don't know, it's a vibe. I'm gonna put it at an A. I'm just trying to think if yeah, I'll put it right there. So next we got 8 a.m. in Charlotte. Great. I mean, there's not much to say. It's a timestamp record. If you know Drake, when he does his timestamp records, they're always classics. It never has not been a classic record. I will say this is probably as of right now my least favorite timestamp record, but I still think that it's still an S tier. It's still an S tier song to me, and nothing's gonna change that. Yeah, some of his best lines I feel like land on here. Things get kinky after 15 years of dominance, like things like that. I feel like his tone, he just sounded. It sounded like I think this because I know he said that he planned on taking a hiatus. I think this version of Drake, not even necessarily saying like, oh, someone's screaming. Not even necessarily like saying, oh, he's gonna come back with a rap record like this, but I just think like his confidence, him being sounding so laid back on a track, like when he comes back from his hiatus, I think we're gonna see him a lot more in this space. And shout out to Conductor on the beat. Shout out to Griselda and everybody. That was a really dope look. Um, yeah, I can't put it above some of these songs personally. I know people a lot. This is most people's favorite song on the album. I get it. I'm not mad at that. But it doesn't beat out those first four to me. Next we have BBL interlude, and I love this. You know what? I don't know. No, I'm gonna put it at an A. I'm gonna put it at an A, but I love this record, and I'm so happy he made it an interlude because I feel like if he didn't, people wouldn't even know that he was like not being serious at all. And this album made me laugh a lot. It reminded me of listening to an Eminem record, and I know like it sounds nothing like an Eminem album. I'm not saying that, but it's like when I listen to some Eminem records, like Relapse specifically, like you'll just be listening and like half the time you'll just start laughing because at the lines you're like that's hilarious. And I remember Yachty said that this was going to be Drake's most theatrical album, and I think I understand what he means now because on a record like this, you get him kind of just playing around, like he's like you don't know if love's real, like like till you feel it, like a BBL. Him kind of talking about how like girls at the concert are like love him, and he's like, you better go home and love your man like you love Drake. Like I don't know, it's just a really I liked seeing Drake in this kind of like playful mode, not taking himself so serious. Um, and sonically, it sounds really good. This whole album sonically sounds incredible. Um, so yeah, with that being said, we have the next record, Drake featuring Bad Bunny, Gently, which also happens to be the worst song on the album. I'm putting it at a D. I don't got much to say, man. I just think this was a miss. And I love their first collaboration that they had. I think it was called Mia, that dropped in October of 2018. But this one just felt like there was no direction. They just put it together sloppily last minute just because it's Drake Bad Bunny. It'll hit, it'll connect, but I don't think it's really even doing that. It's not even doing what they thought it would do. And I think that's a reflection of how the record sounds. There's no direction, there's no formula. It just kind of starts and then ends. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan of that. So the next record we have is called Rich Baby Daddy featuring Sexy Red and SZA. A song that I should not enjoy as much as I do, but I love it. I mean, this record was for the clubs. It was for again, it's just it's a fun record. Like it's just like it's like a guilty pleasure enjoyment to listen to it. The beat is crazy, the sample is awesome. Drake does again his classic. At the end he switches up, it gets underwater type beat, and he kind of goes in and really pieces it together and makes it a song. And yeah, I mean, there's not much more to it. It's a good song. I think it's worthy to be an A tier for sure. Next up, we have Another Late Night with Yachty. Um, this is the definition of like a song that you want to just play when you're just driving around at night. Like maybe you're with a girl, maybe you're with your boys, maybe you're by yourself, and it just hits. Very straight to the point. cool, easy to sing along chorus with a Drake verse and a Yachty verse, which both have some memorable one-liners and a great flow, a nice little moody aesthetic beat to it, and that's what you're gonna get, and that's what I wanted. You know, I know a lot of people were kind of pissed off about some of Yachty's influence in this album, but I personally loved it. And I mean, I know that they won't do this because of the backlash from the internet, but shit, if they make a mixtape together, I want to hear 10 of these. I'm telling you, I wouldn't mind an album with 10 of these. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. I think they got great chemistry together, and I think it shows. This is an A-tier record for sure. Put it right there. Next, we got Away From Home, the introspective Drake, the Drake that everybody loves, Drake that everybody enjoys. He's basically he's basically starting off damn near every sentence with "I remember," and then he's just giving moments of his career that either A, we didn't know about, or B, we knew about, but we didn't know how he felt. Like him losing Best New Artist to that to jazz person or whatever. Like he you know, we didn't know it affected him like that at the time, you know. So I think it was just a really cool trip into Drake's mind, and just more of like a reflective journey he's on, and seeing how far he's come. This is the Drake that I know that everybody loves. I think that it was executed in a good way. Yeah, I it's an S tier record for me. I mean, it falls at the end of S tier, but it's definitely still an S tier record for me. Also, shout out to the line where he was like, makes me think about when I had to put some money on a mortgage. Like he's acting like he is so far removed from like normal people. Like putting money on a mortgage is a normal thing, Drake. Like, come on now. But but yeah. And then the last record we got is called Polar Opposites. It's a great closeout. Again, not the typical outro you would get from Drake where he's rapping at the end, but I think it rounds out the album great. The beat on it is crazy. Another like we got some classic R&B cuts on this record. This is definitely going to be an A tier. I'm just trying to think about where it'll fall. I probably put it right here. Yeah, that's where I put it, and I think it was much needed. You know, like maybe this album could have ended with Away From Home, but I still don't think it would have really made sense. Polar Opposites closes it out much better. So, yeah, this is how I have it for right now. I don't know if that'll change. This is definitely subject to change. I definitely think Virginia Beach is like Drake's best song, and probably at least 5 years, I would say. And I've loved most of what he's put out, so that's saying a lot. But yeah, I think people are really being really hard on this record, and I think people are gonna end up coming around to it like they do with every Drake album. And yeah, I still want to do a full review, and I will. I just want to give it a little bit of time because I do definitely want to sit with it a little bit more, because I do think that there is a theme and a message overall to this. But yeah, that's where it stands right now. So, hey, like and subscribe, do all of that. I'm sure I think Joe's gonna have a hockey episode coming out next or something, and then we'll probably do more reviewing, football, all that good stuff, So keep looking forward to more. We're gonna have a bunch of content for everybody's liking on here, not just music, not just football. Basketball starting up, hockey starting up. There's a lot of cool things going on. So yeah, we'll see y'all then.